I am Comedian Nazareth, and thank you so much for joining me tonight in this 77 degrees Southern California. I don't know where you're at and how cold it is where you're at, but here we're enjoying the beautiful weather as California is getting less and less crowded because people are leaving the states. Um, so it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for making this podcast on the top. So I didn't look at the ranks this week, but we're doing well. So thank you so much for doing that. Okay, for the last 125 shows, I've been uh, bringing guests that have wisdom and experience and can give you wisdom and can encourage you and can help you. And from comedians to actors to musicians to many pastors who are able to give you wisdom. Tonight, my guest is different. Tonight is we're going to get wisdom from someone who's been on the field playing the game, not overlooking and coaching the game. Actually, someone who's played the game. What is the game? It's the game of life. It's a game of living in America. And I'll tell you, I came to this country in 1984, almost 38 years ago. And I'll tell you, with every immigrant who comes to this country, the thing, they have family members and they have relatives back home. And when we were ready to come here, they were thinking we're coming, money grows on trees in this country. You just come in and you get the American dream, and you just don't have to work hard. You just either gonna make it, you're gonna get your dream, or you can enjoy the benefits that the government give and sit on your butt and collect. That's the mentality of a lot of immigrants that come here. And it wasn't mine. I mean, I came here, I knew if I work hard, I can get what I want. And that meant I had to work 3 jobs, 7 days a week, not a single day off in 3 years, not sick day, not vacation day, not weekend. Had to work hard. And I found out if I want to accomplish my goals, I have to do them while I'm working hard, not just sit there and go, this is America. Everyone gets their dream. No, 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 no. People work hard, people struggle. And sometimes you don't get what your dream is. You don't get there. But you get to live life and you get to be appreciative living in this country, working hard, and that's, I mean, does not life does not always go the way we want. I mean, this is, I don't want to discourage you because I want to encourage you because this is coming from a man who wrote the book Hope in 24 Hours, where your situation can change in 24 hours or less for the better without you even thinking about it if it's God's will. Not a name it and claim it book, but this book has been selling a lot and it's really encouraging. I wrote it before the pandemic. I'm not here to promote my book. I'm here to tell you I'm a very optimistic person. And I'll tell you what, uh, maybe my dreams when I first came here weren't where I'm at now. But I'm so thankful for where I'm at. I'm so appreciative and I'm so satisfied where I'm at. Maybe not satisfied, not settled in it, but you know what I mean? I'm still working hard to get better. I want to be the best Nazareth I can, and I want to be able to to get what this country can offer me and be able to bless other people and help other people. So, with that said, I'm settling the foundation to, for the first time, I'm going to have a person. I call her a friend because she's been on my other show, Live with Naz. And if you don't watch Live with Naz, you need to. It's every weeknight except Tuesday nights. Uh, every weeknight where we laugh for about 53 minutes. And then, as a community of people who want to be funny and laugh, we pray for one another, not on the show, but we take prayer requests and we pray for that person. So, my guest today, well, the minute she joined our show, the minute I found about her, a single mom with 6 kids, single mom, 6 children, and she doesn't sit and just wait for help. She works. She actually drives a dump truck. A dump truck, yes, in a construction site with mostly men. And she's going through life, the American life, and I want to hear from her and see what she's been through, how she overcame it, or and the stuff that she don't didn't overcome yet. What is she doing about it, and what's her goals in life, and what's her dreams? Because this is America, you can get your dreams. So let's welcome my friend Rochelle Weathern. Hi, Rochelle.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you for taking the time. Having six kids. Did you work today?
I did. I actually worked over 9 hours today.
You worked over 9 hours, then you went to pick up your son from
Yep.
school.
My 15-year-old, yeah, I pick him up. And then actually, I came home first to clean up for this. And then I left again to get him. And then I came back.
What is your typical day like on a typical weekday?
So I wake up. My alarm goes off at 5:30. Um, and then hopefully the 15-year-old gets himself up. But if not, I have to wake him up. And we got to be out the door by 6:30. And I also have to wake up the other younger four because they leave for school at 7:30. But obviously, I'm already at work. I start at 7. So my dad actually comes to my house and picks them up and takes them to school.
Uh,
And then I usually work. Sometimes it's shorter, but in recent days, it's been pretty long 8, 9, 10, sometimes even over 10-hour days. So I start at 7, and then I'm usually done no later than like 4:30 or so, and then I pick up my 15-year-old at about 5:25, and we get home and clean up, read the Bible with the kids, say hi, and then put them in bed and start all over again.
wow. And do you have to cook for them?
Well, I mean, when I was a stay-at-home mom, I cooked a lot. I really like cooking. I really enjoy cooking and eating, but in this season of life, there's just not a lot of time to cook. So they're kind of they're kind of scavengers now. But there's God always provides food. We always have lots of food. It's just not always home cooked food.
Now, how what's the age of the kids? So the 15-year-old, then second is what?
So my oldest is actually 17. He'll be 18
17.
in May. And then so it goes 17, 15, 13, 11, 9, 7.
Wow. And do you have any support, like as someone, like you said, your dad comes and take, who stays with them if they're sick and they don't go to school?
So, um, unfortunately, if they're sick and they don't go to school, if they're not old enough to stay home alone, I'm not really in a position to call into work per se because of the line of work I'm in. And I'm the only dump truck driver for my company right now. So, if one of the young kids is sick, I pick one of the older ones, like whichever one it would be the least detrimental to miss a day of school for, they'll stay home with the younger one.
Oh my Lord. And how long
Yeah.
you been doing that by yourself?
Well, I've been single for 5 years. I've been divorced for almost 4.5 years, but I've been on my own for 5 years. But actually, for 2 of those years, I lived at a place called Five Rock Ranch, where um, I was in more of a community. It's a faith based place for primarily single moms and their kids to kind of retreat from the world and heal from whatever things they've gone through, and you know return to their
Mm.
first love, which is Christ. So we did that for 2 years, but we've been back out on our own for almost 2 years.
Wow. Now,
Yeah.
little Rochelle, where was she born? How did she grow up?
I was actually born in Portland, and then we moved to Colorado. I think when I was going into first grade, and then I ended up back in Oregon when I was entering into my freshman year of high school.
So your family moved back to Oregon?
Yep. Hmm.
And what happened? How was high school for you?
Oh man. High school was not good. High school was bad. I consider Colorado Springs to be like my hometown where I grew up. I spent first through the end of 8th grade in Colorado Springs, and it was a really diverse community. The schools I went to had a lot of different people, a lot of Hispanic people and Asian people and Black people and
Uh,
white people, and just lots of different people. And so I don't know. I guess I was used to that kind of group of people, a lot of diversity. And then we moved to Scappoose, Oregon, which at the time, so like 24, 25 years ago, it was super, super white. There was two Black girls in the whole town. So there was two Black girls in the whole high school. And I don't know, like I'm a white girl, but I was, I kind of rolled with the other ethnicities, and I didn't feel like I fit in at all when I got out here to Scappoose. And yeah, it went downhill pretty quick for me in high school. It's pretty bad.
can you tell me how to say the same name of the town? Skawat?
Scappoose.
Scappoose?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but the mascot is an Indian.
Oh, okay, Scappoose. Okay, so
Yeah.
people would think Oregon is very progressive, very multicultural, very all that, but it's weird to
Yeah.
know that. Yeah. Now, high school, you came in, you got involved with craziness, drugs, alcohol. What was your life like in high school?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly all how it occurred. I do remember when I moved to Scappoose, I used to be really athletic in Colorado, and so I really loved volleyball, and so I went to the volleyball summer camp for Scappoose High School, and that I guess that's where I first felt like I just did not fit in with these girls. Um, and so I don't know. I found different people to hang out with, I guess, and I ended up partying, smoking weed, drinking, eventually becoming addicted to those kinds of things. I got into harder drugs. I didn't go to school a whole lot at all my first 3 years of high school. Um, I ended up
Mm.
stealing from people to support my addictions. And I had grown up in the church, but I don't know, something about moving from Colorado to Scappoose just set me off the deep end. I ended up practicing eating disorders. I ended up hospitalized for anorexia and bulimia. Got in a couple car crashes. I wasn't driving, but just running around with the wrong crowd for
Mm.
sure.
What was your parents like at the time?
Well, my mom, she followed us. I actually moved out here with my dad and my little sister. I have a younger sister and an older brother. My mom stayed in Colorado for a time with my older brother until she was able to financially, have the ability to move out to Oregon. So she came out when she was able to. Um, my dad worked. Um, I don't know. That's one of the things about my childhood is I don't really remember how I was parented. I don't know. I mean, my
I
parents
mean,
were there, but I
and
don't
now,
know. Maybe
n-
I was just checked out, I guess.
did you always when when did you start? I mean, how did you get out of that lifestyle, out of that drugs, the alcohol, the anorexia, all that?
So it wasn't me. It for sure wasn't my doing. It started escalating. I started doing, more destructive, more dangerous, more addictive things. And so
Mm.
eventually I ended up going to a rave, I think in Portland with one of my girlfriends. And I don't know who the guy was, but a guy squirted our tongues with acid, squirted, didn't just like drop a drop, but squirted our tongues with acid. And I hadn't done that very many times. I don't know if I'd ever done acid before that, really, but
Mm.
it turned out that that was way too much, and it was laced with arsenic, which is rat poison.
Ooh.
And so that experience, it lasted for several days. It was really terrifying and really painful, and I'm convinced it was demonic. I think that when you do drugs, you open
Right.
your mind and your soul up to demonic things, and so it was really terrifying. It ended up, I went to the hospital because, I think my dad probably came home I ended up at my dad's house somehow, and yeah, I ended up in the ambulance going to the hospital. Stupidly, about a week later, I went and smoked weed with the same girl that I had gone to that rave with out on
Oh.
Savi Island, this little island out here. And it threw me into a flashback, and it was so scary because it was a really horrifying experience. So I remember during the overdose itself, crying out to Jesus because
Mm.
I've grown up in the church, and I know I'm sure my dad had been praying for me, and my mom had probably been praying for me, and who knows how many people have been praying for me. And so when I was in the midst of that terrifying, painful experience, I cried out to him. But then, stupidly, a week later, I went back and did drugs again. But I called my mom from the island
Mm.
because I got really scared, and she came and got me. And then I ended up going to an outdoor church service at the
Uh,
Foursquare church that my dad went to at the time. And I just remember the pastor, doing a like, did anybody feel tugged by the spirit or whatever he said? And I raised my hand. And then after
uh,
that, my addictions were all gone. I was no longer wanted to cigarettes or alcohol or drugs, nothing. I had a really foul mouth at the time, like swearing like a sailor, and that went away. I didn't steal anymore. Yeah, I wasn't promiscuous. Just everything. He just cleaned me up. It was like a Damascus Road kind of experience.
that's true for me as well, is because some people, and I'm not, some people when they accept Christ and they have like an alcohol problem or a drug problem, maybe they need a 12-step program, maybe they need to go, maybe it's a process for them. But for some people like myself and you, it was instantaneous. It was God
Mm-hmm.
said, boom, you're a new creation right now, everything is new. So he knew I couldn't go through a whole 12 step to stop and all that. But
Yeah.
that's awesome. So how old what stage of life were you in that situation when you came to Christ and you said, I'm done with all that?
So that was the summer going into my senior year of high school, which was
Uh-huh.
cool because, the people at that school for those 3 years that they knew of me one way. And then I came back like totally different. So that was pretty cool to be like a walking testimony, to God's grace and power. But unfortunately, I didn't stay that way. I ended up eventually, I never got as bad as I was before, but stupidly enough, I started to smoke cigarettes again. And then I let the guilt and the shame of that just push me farther and farther away
Uh,
from Jesus. And so I went a little prodigal ish again for a couple of years. I didn't get as bad as I was before, and I think it's probably because of the Holy Spirit, but also I think that God let me get as far as I did into drugs and have that horrifying experience that I had because he knew I had to be like scared out of it. Because no matter
mm.
how stupid I've been since that, because I've still made some dumb choices since then, but I never ever went back to drugs because I was too scared.
Now, what was your dream back then when you were at that stage? What was your dream? What did you want out of life?
Oh, so my senior year of high school, I took culinary arts class,
Oh,
and that's kind of started my interest in cooking and food. So I was interested in going to the Culinary Arts Institute in Portland, or I thought about being a flight attendant. I thought that would be cool, but neither of those happened.
good. Did you think one day I want to have 6 kids?
No, no, no. I don't know if I ever really thought about having kids, but I didn't. I made some unwise choices and ended up having my oldest before I was married to his dad. All six of my kids have the same dad, but I had my oldest before we were married, and then no planning or thinking really. I just honestly really love being pregnant and having babies. I feel like it's one of my like giftings or callings, and so I just kept having them.
Be fruitful and multiply. You took
Yeah,
it
yeah, I was good
seriously.
at it. So
Good, good, good. So you had the kids, and then dad, was came out of the picture,
yeah.
and you're you're by yourself as a single mom,
Yep.
and you have 6 kids. So instead
Yep.
of just waiting for the government to support you, you went and got a job.
I did.
Uh,
Yeah.
w- why a
I,
dump truck? Why
Well,
a
I wasn't initially a dump truck driver. So when I first became a single mom, I had been a stay at home mom for a decade. So I was
oh
out of the workforce, for a decade. And I don't know what it was, but I was driving around at some point in my little town and saw the school bus sign at the bus barn, talking about wanting drivers. And I don't know, I guess it was probably God, being like, hey, call and do that. And I never would have thought, in my past years, I would ever end up driving anything huge. But I started with driving a school bus, and then I did that for about a year. And then we ended up at the ranch. And when we were at the ranch, Five Rock Ranch, for the single moms and their kids, I drove their shuttle for them sometimes. And then it wasn't until I came back from the ranch, I drove city bus for a while, but my hours were so minimal, it wasn't a viable career option. And then I like to talk. I'm a gabber, and so I was at this appointment for poor people eyeglasses to get my eyes examined and get some free glasses. And I was
oh
talking to the lady about a work source flyer that I saw there, and like, oh yeah, I thought it'd be cool to get my Class A CDL. That'd be cool someday. And she's like, oh yeah, we can help you with that. We can pay for you to go to truck school. And so it all just kind of happened. I don't know, circumstantially. Like it wasn't something that I planned. It just all kind of happened.
so you go to work and probably every other person on the site is a man, all right?
Yeah, literally 100% of all the other people, maybe 99.9% of the other people.
So if you need to use the restroom, what do you guys use?
The porta potties, but
Oh no.
I've learned to go to the porta potty that's by like the little makeshift office where the builder, the bigwig guy on site, where he has his porta potty,
Uh,
because usually that one's pretty clean because it's by the
okay.
boss guy. So,
Now, what about the Christmas party? You're the only one. The
oh,
only.
we didn't
Do,
have a Christmas party.
do you get? Do you get like? I know I am so thankful because I have 2 daughters and a wife. The Me Too movement, as you know, I appreciated that. So women can be in a workplace without being, verbally abused and all that. Is
Yeah.
that what is that like in a construction site? Being who you are and you look like you look the way you look.
Well, sometimes it's totally fine. Sometimes people are pretty, respectful. The men that I work with, I call them the boys because I'm older than everybody, but so the boys that I work with are always very kind and respectful to me. The little crew. There's only four of them. There was a few more, but we're down to four. So they're really great. But sometimes the other crews, various construction companies there, and this isn't a racist thing by any means, but the majority of them are Hispanic men, and I think a lot of them probably don't really speak English, and so sometimes it's pretty uncomfortable to walk around because they might be saying something to each other that I don't understand, or just kind of rubbernecking me or just making noises, but that doesn't happen all the time. I tend to wear my hood and my hat and my sunglasses
Ah,
and just keep a low
so the,
profile and try not to. I
so
try to be friendly, but I don't want to give them the wrong idea by being friendly.
I see. That's and yeah, see that's something not many women go through, and you're in a in a job that not many women apply for and all
Yeah.
that. But uh, I want to ask the question someone asked. It's a new person, Vash Matrix. He said, excuse me, how about adoption instead of bringing more innocent life into this dying world at the end of days? I'll let you answer it, but I want to answer a little bit. At the end, we don't know. No one knows the time and the hour when's the
Hmm.
end of days. That's only God knows that. So we don't know that. Uh, innocent life, every life that's innocent. Thank you. Now, as far as you're able to take care of your kids. I mean,
Hmm.
adoption. Yeah, some adoption is great, but when you have your kids and you're already with you and you're able to work
Hmm.
hard, even be a dump truck driver,
Hmm.
and to support him, you don't need to put what do you answer the Vash with? How do you
So
answer?
what comes to mind for me is the verse, and I don't know the address of it, but the fact that God knows all of us before He knitted us together in our mother's womb. So I
Amen.
believe that every child that is conceived, God planned and He knew them, even if they came about, through less than ideal circumstances of conception. He still created each and every one of us and has purpose for every one of us. So I love all my kids. I'm thankful that I got to have all of them. I also actually would love the chance to adopt, but I don't feel like it would be responsible, for me as a single mom of six to try to go and adopt some kids when I don't have a whole lot of time at home, unfortunately, right now. But I don't know. I think every baby is a blessing. None of them are mistakes. So I think
Amen.
adoption is
Amen.
great and natural childbirth is great too.
What do you say to people who's like, ah, feel sorry for me. I can't do any job. I don't want to work. I just want to stay home. You either give me the manager position or I'm just gonna stay home and feel, you know, live off the system. What do you say to those people?
I mean, barring any legitimate disabilities that actually keep somebody from being able to work, I mean, that's a totally different situation.
Of course,
But
that's different.
yeah, but somebody that just wants to, you know, be lazy, I mean, I don't know. I think idle hands are the devil's playground, and I think God created us to work. I don't think we need to work ourselves into the ground. Like, I did over 200 hours last month, and that was more than I would prefer to do. But, I felt like God had me there to fill a need while the need is there. And I don't know. I mean, God has provided for my kids and I in all kinds of ways. I definitely have and still do get help from the government because their
Yeah,
father
of
doesn't pay
course.
child support. But I feel that because I'm working and doing my part and doing what I can, that it's okay. I feel like the system's kind of set up for people in my situation where the person that's supposed to be providing isn't providing. But unless you're in like an extenuating circumstance similar to something like mine, I don't know. I think it's good for us to work, and I think that there's some pride and ownership, when you work for your money and it's not just handed to you. I think it's better for everybody to work.
Let me ask you this, Rochelle. Where is the church around you and around your kids? Is there a body of believers that helping you? Do you even have time to allow them? Are you the type like I can do it all by myself? What do you have?
Well, I mean, I do have kind of like a pretty independent like personality. I think maybe part of that was developed though within my marriage because I was married for a decade, but I did, primarily all of the kids stuff. It was me. Like I did stuff with them on my own. I don't know. I didn't really feel like it was ever a real partnership with the parenting. So that maybe is a, survival skill I've kind of developed. But I definitely have a church family. I've gone to Calvary Chapel Fellowship for about a decade now, probably a little over a decade. And it's a small church, but from the minute I walked in there, I was barely pregnant with Rex, who's now going to be 10 this summer.
Mm.
Um, I just felt welcomed and at home. Pastor Paul and his wife Debbie, they've always loved us and accepted us and encouraged us and for sure have helped us. Um, so if there was ever a need that I had, like if I had a bill I needed to pay and I couldn't do it, they've let me know, like, if you need help, just let us know. But God's just been really great to show up in all kinds of ways through my work, and I collect cans and bottles, and like I like to go thrift and like flip stuff and all different creative ways. He's shown up to take care of us.
You're amazing. You are. I just want you to know that you're amazing. You're just
Oh, thanks. I don't think so, but
Just
thanks.
amazing. No, you are just this is, and people who are watching and listening, this is amazing stories. This is real life. This is reality. This is not oh yeah, everything is fine, and you
Oh
just,
no.
or oh sorry me, feel sorry.
Mm.
No, you're really working. And by the way, I know when we do the live with Naz, your kids are watching and actually making jokes. That tells me they're very healthy. They're
Yeah,
healthy
yeah.
kids. So that's, I mean, my hat
Hmm.
off to you. My question to you right now, I mean, what do you say to yourself every morning? You get up at 5:30. Do you go, just another day, or what do you? What is it like?
Well, honestly, I have a hard time getting up in the morning because I'm pretty tired. But once I get up and get going, I try to listen to like a little, I like the Bible Project videos. They have an app now, so I like to try to listen to something to try to get my mind, squared away and set on, you know, things of God and good things, and not get spiraled out into negative thinking. But really, I don't have a hard time with negative thinking anymore, and I've never really stopped to think about it until you asked me. But I don't know. I guess I wake up and I'm tired, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to get up. But once I'm up and moving, I'm okay. Um, and I thank God for the sunrise. If I'm driving my 15-year-old, I drop him off on my way to work to his ride to school. So he has to get up really early too. But I try to find things to be thankful for. It's really great to be up so early. I can see the sunrise. That's pretty cool. And yeah, I don't know. I try to be thankful. I try to make an intentional effort to find things to thank God for, because it really helps your whole mindset about everything if you can find the things that he's doing to bless you. So,
Amen. Amen. Let me ask you this. You have different age groups, and
mhm.
this is a question. It's really in my head.
Okay.
I was like you. I was 20. No, I was 28 when I came to Christ. My
Mm,
life before was drugs, marijuana, cocaine, drinking,
yeah.
sexual immorality, all that
Mm,
stuff. And now I'm raising my kids, and my kids are 99.9% better than I am when I
yeah.
was their age. Your son is 17. He's going probably through some stuff, but
Yeah.
what do you how do you say, well, I was worse when I was age. I mean, I'm so. How do you deal with that? Because I don't. I'm trusting my wife is taking care of that because she's the pure version, nothing wrong in her
Aw,
life. So
that's
she's the
good.
one that running the raising the kids. But when
Yeah.
they ask me, I go, yeah, this is just a little marijuana. You know what I mean?
uh,
How do you deal with that?
so, like, how do I tell them about my teenage years?
No, how do you
No.
deal with what do you consider, oh no, you're never gonna do that, or no, you're not
Oh,
doing.
no, yeah, no, I'm definitely like a pretty straight edge when it comes to drugs and alcohol or cigarettes or tobacco. Like, no, that's all a big no. You're not gonna dabble around with any of that as long as you're my kid and you live here. And if you do, I'll find out about it because I've done everything. So you can't really do anything and have me not find out about it. So no, none
Right.
of that. But I don't know. I do like to. We really like movies, and so we watch movies that sometimes have like swear words and stuff in it. But
Right.
that's about as crazy as it gets over here. No, none of the drugs or booze or no, none of that's allowed. Mm-mm.
Perfect. No, 17-year-olds or and 15-year-olds, they're probably going through anxieties,
Hmm.
depressions,
Yeah.
not knowing what's going. How do you deal with that, Rochelle?
Well, I've had a lot of experience with that with some of my teenagers. And I don't know. I mean, I try to find a balance between acknowledging whatever it is that they're experiencing and feeling and going through, and to not dismiss it, but then to also remind them of, well, this is what God says, and God does have good plans for you, and He says He has a hope and a future for you. And um, yeah, I do try to relate to them because I have gone through my own depressions and anxiety with the horrible acid overdose and the flashbacks that lasted for a really long time.
Ah,
So I try to relate to them if I can, and try to get them into counseling. But that's a really hard thing to do right now. Counselors are just overwhelmed. So yeah, I
yeah.
don't know. Pray for them. Pray with them if they're super struggling and panicky. If they want me to pray with them, sometimes it's not always the most opportune time, but stuff like that.
Is there a father figure around them?
No, no, I'm just me. I've been on my own ever since I've been on my own. But I mean, my dad, he's become more involved with them. And that's something that I've missed about being at Five Rock Ranch. I know that it was our time to move, and God's been really faithful to take care of us. But I do miss having community, and because there were some men there that really poured into some of my kids, and they really connected with, and so that's one of the things that they don't really have, unfortunately. But I'm still hopeful. You never know. Maybe God has God has somebody out there to step into this giant family. I don't know.
I'm sure that he does. Let me ask you this: How is the? Did you reach out to the church and say, "Hey, listen," to the pastor, "Hey, listen, and my kids, they need a father figure, someone who can, from the men's ministry, or someone who can pour into the life, because that's what the church is for." And really,
Yeah,
have you tried that? Have you gone to the church and say, "Hey, I need help"?
I have. I have. And the men at my church, they're great. And Pastor Paul, he's really great. And I know that he loves my family. But everybody's busy. Everybody's got their own busy lives, and which I understand, everybody's busy. But I actually learned about this program. I think it's called Fathers in the Field. And it's like exactly what with somebody in my situation that doesn't have a new husband uh, could could use. And it's for fatherless boys, and they equip and train men at churches to like step alongside fatherless boys and basically be a father figure and a mentor to them. So that's something
That's
that I've looked into a little bit, but yeah, it's not something that's panned out really for us. So
that's I mean that would be great if
yeah,
it's done properly. And
yeah.
what do you think, Rochelle? What do you think our country can do different to help families like yourself, a single mom with several kids?
Man, I don't know. I mean, raising up these young men to become men that won't abuse their family or walk out on their family or make kids and never be there to begin with. I think training up the next generation of fathers is a really good thing. But for the those of us that are already here in this situation, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just coming alongside, like spending time with the boys. If Yeah, it's just so hard because people are busy, but it would be really great if healthy, godly, responsible men that have some time, even just a few hours a week, that they could see a need and come alongside a young man who doesn't have a father figure in his life. I think that would be huge. And it wouldn't take that much time, but it would be life changing for the kids and for the men too that take the time to do that. It would bless both of them
How far
and
are
the
you
moms.
from and the moms? How
Yeah.
far are you from Portland, Oregon?
I'm like 40 minutes away, 45 minutes.
What's the closest city, but large city next to you is
It'd be
near you?
Portland or Hillsboro, Oregon. Yeah.
Hillsboro.
Hmm.
I am sure people who are listening to this or gonna listen to this, and some men, some maybe married men or fathers or grandfathers that go, oh, we need to do something. We need to step into these guys, and do something. Be a father figure. I want you to connect with me, people. I can connect you to Rochelle if it's the right fit, but. connect with me at on Facebook under Comedian Nazareth. You can message me. You can go to Naz at NazarethUSA.com, and let's say, hey, we are that far. We want to support. We want to help. We want to offer whatever it is that God puts in your heart. This is not what the podcast. This podcast is not. This woman is really sufficient, and she's doing great, working so hard. And I pray that if you have a job for her that allows her to be home more often, or if you have and you go, and if the church is listening, a church in Oregon, all right, you need to say we need to be more involved. We need to come alongside Rochelle and her family and help, because that's what Christ would do. That's what we are called as the body of Christ. And it really, I mean, I'm really surprised that the churches are not putting a lot more into your life than but what is Rochelle prays for? What do you pray for?
Oh man. Well, I pray for peace in my home and in the hearts of my kiddos. That if it is that if it is God's will, people they'll think this is crazy. But if it is His will for me to have any more kids, that He would, provide me that opportunity. I am getting older. I'm almost 39, so that might not be a possibility. But and what do I ask for? I guess I ask for the kids to be encouraged. Yeah, for them to know Him and walk with Him. That's the most important thing. I mean, if you don't know Jesus and you don't walk with Him and spend eternity with Him, then all of this is for nothing. So that's the main thing. And to keep providing for us like He does. I don't know. Maybe I should start asking for more stuff. I don't know.
You should. This is what do you call it? When do you have time for yourself? When do you have time for I just me as a woman, I need to do my nails, I need to do my hair. Do you
Yeah.
have that time?
Not no, not really. I mean, before I was the only driver for my company that I work for, I had more time. But I don't know. I haven't had a whole lot of time lately. But when I do have time, I like to go thrifting. I think going to thrift stores is really fun. I don't get my nails done. I'm not in a line of work that you should really have pretty nails, because sometimes I have to jump inside the box of my truck and like scrape the mud out and stuff. So you don't want to have pretty nails when you have that going on. But I have got my hair done. I've got my hair done professionally like 2 or 3 times in my life now. So that's a thing I do a couple of times a year. Yeah.
That that's interesting. If you're a single man out there and going, you know what? There's a mission for me from God, and I don't know. I'm always a matchmaker, and
Yeah.
we had about 105 people watching at one point. Plus, this is going to go to thousands of people, on audio.
Yeah.
I'm not, if there's a godly man out there, a young godly man who's really going, hey, I got an instant family, just add water to it.
Yep. There you go.
um, that is just wonderful. You're amazing. I mean, what do you say to other single moms who are struggling, going, I can't take it anymore? What do you say to them?
Well, one of the things that has been huge for me and my healing process and just learning how to do life, in a healthy and more happy, functional way is laughing. It's my favorite thing to do. And when we were at Five Rock Ranch, we were there about 2 years, and I would tell people when I was there, I have smiled and laughed more in this short 2 window period of time than I have in like my whole 10 years of marriage altogether. Because
Oh,
I mean, it's got to be God, healing us and working through whatever stuff needed to be worked through. But just learning to laugh, like if you can laugh with your kids and joke around and try to have fun with them. Because I know for me, especially with so many boys and little Miss Penelope, she can be a spitfire. But especially when the boys were younger, I just felt like a drill sergeant, like I felt like all I do is tell these kids to do this and don't do that and clean up this and clean, and it's no fun. Like you're not enjoying yourself or your kids if all you're doing is disciplinarian and like, damage control stuff. So I think one of the most important things to do is to learn how to have fun with them and laugh with them, and do something outside of the house maybe, so then all the chores aren't looming over your head, all the stuff that needs to be done. Get out
Right.
and laugh and do something fun, and yeah, try to enjoy them, and not spend all your time correcting, even though there's lots of things that need to be corrected.
It's fun. Do you have time to read books?
When I was at the ranch, I did, because I didn't have my cell phone at the ranch. So at nighttime, I would read. But now that I'm back in the world and I have my cell phone, I haven't been reading much, but I do. I need to read more books. But I really
I'm gonna
enjoyed reading at the ranch.
I'm gonna send you one of my books. It's called it's made for fathers, but it's perfect for moms. It's called "You're So Funny, Daddy: Learning How to Communicate with Your Children Using Humor,"
Oh,
and
yeah,
how
that's great.
important that humor is. But my other book that I was talking about, Hope in 24 Hours. Rochelle, tomorrow, your situation could change tomorrow.
That's
24
true.
hours from now.
That's true.
That's true. And that's what I want people to believe, especially you and others who are, you know, just life is just hard right now, is to
Mm-hmm.
know that God is able, if it's His will, to change your situation. It happened to me when I was single. 24 hours later, I found my bride.
Oh,
I was
wow.
in debt 24, losing my house 24 hours. God provided the money.
Wow.
There's so many other things in my life that God jumped in, and within 24 hours, it wasn't in my, what do you call it, scenario. Like, how sometimes you get up at 3, 4 in the morning going, what am I going to do today? Oh no, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. I have to deal with this. We never add the scenario. God can intervene and
Mm-hmm.
everything can change. And I don't know if that's going to happen 24 hours for you, but I know to have that hope, to know that God is the God of hope. I think your story, Rochelle, is a story of God's faithfulness.
For
And
sure.
I want you to tell people about God's faithfulness right now. People who probably don't have enough trust, they're mad at Him. I don't
Mm-hmm.
see you're not even mad at God, which is great that we know and He should, but you're
Mm-hmm.
not mad at God. Look at me. Why is this situation happening to me? You're just going day by day.
Day by day. Yeah, that's one of the things that I think he's probably taught me, just by showing up so faithfully to do, is to go day by day. Like even today, because I worked so much last month, and this month I haven't worked a whole lot because of snow, and I was sick and stuff like that. So I could start thinking like, oh no, what about this far from now or that far from now, and how am I going to do this? And then I have to catch myself. No, 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 God has been faithful to provide for me, and I only need to think about today. He doesn't want us to worry about tomorrow, and He has been so faithful. I mean, it's going to sound unbelievable, because it kind of is, but I have felt more secure and provided for, and more at peace since He has been my sole provider. Since I've been on
Oh,
my own with 6 kids, he's just shown up in so many ways and taken care of every bill that needs to be taken care of in whatever means He chooses, be it my work or somebody randomly feeling like, oh hey, do you need this? I feel like God wanted me to give you this, or whatever way He decides to show up. He has been very faithful to take care of us, and we've never been without everything that we need, which is
now
crazy.
I know you're busy and you don't have time to cook and stuff. What is your favorite meal to make that because you wanted to go to culinary school and
I
hopefully one
did.
day God will offer that opportunity and you get to do that. What is it? What's your favorite meal to make?
Um, well, I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite to make. Like, I haven't gotten to spend a lot of time just playing around in the kitchen, but my favorite thing to eat that I make in recent years is probably just nachos. Like, I like to season around the meat, just play with seasonings. I think playing with seasonings is really fun, and I can make a big old batch of nacho burrito taco meat, and then we can eat on it for like several days. And I also
So,
really love breakfast. Breakfast is really good.
So do you don't have much time, but you always like does the kids help you with making stuff and eating stuff and
Um, uh, I haven't been very good about having them in the kitchen with me helping. When I was a stay-at-home mom and cooked a lot, they were all pretty little. That was a long time ago. They were all pretty little, so it was easier for me to just get it done myself. But they have helped me. Some of the boys, even Rex, he's 9. He can make his own eggs, and the older boys, Hiram, he's made some steaks and stuff. He knows how to cook some stuff. Ethan could cook if he wanted to cook. He's actually have a pressure cooker, so he's been playing around a little bit with chicken in the pressure cooker. And Penelope, she's only 7, but she even gets in the kitchen, kind of out of necessity because I'm not home a lot now since I work so much. But she can make herself oatmeal and tuna fish sandwich, and she can make herself. I don't know. They do pretty good. Like they've learned to be independent and self sufficient. I guess kind of out of necessity, which that's kind of sad, but it's also pretty cool that they can take care of themselves if they need to.
Amen.
Yeah.
Sarah saying, I pray that you'll be able to pursue the dreams God has placed in your heart, Rochelle, and truly. And I just say, you know what? I will be praying along with a lot of people about that, one day you don't have to work that hard. You don't have to work in that job, that God will provide where somewhere where you can work from home, be with your kids. And the knight with the shining armor coming
Yeah.
from outside of Oregon, maybe, or somewhere, or from Oregon, and be able to make you be the feminine mom you can be, and take care of the kids and make up for that
Yeah.
time that the kids didn't have a father figure. So that's our
Yeah.
prayer, and that's what we pray for. I want to thank you for being open. I want to thank you for being just being able to take that time. I don't want to take more time from you and your kids, but I really
Mm.
appreciate you. And
Sure.
Rochelle, you're going to be on the show. We're not going to do the show tonight, but tomorrow you'll be
Oh.
on the show with us. So if you want to laugh with us, join Rochelle, join Sarah, join Bobby, join Ellen, all the people that on this right now watching the podcast. Join us to laugh every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time
Yep.
with the live with Naz and Rochelle. You are so funny. Your kids are funny. We love
Oh,
you, and please,
thanks.
you have a community here, and if you need anything, just
Oh.
uh, message me, and if I can provide it, me and Maha and my family, we have people around us that
Oh.
can do that. We
Thank you.
appreciate
That's
you
so
so
sweet. I
much.
really appreciate it. Thank you for your show. I love it. I love laughing. And I love making my brain work and, come up with funny stuff. It's great.
I think the fact that you and your kids sitting together and thinking of something funny, that is so healthy as a
Yeah.
family, and I love doing that. So love you guys. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate
Thanks.
you. We'll see you later. Bye, guys. And thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for listening. This is a very moving for me. This is a really, you're dealing with a real person, uh, a strong person, someone, the strength of a person doesn't come from just, being, aggressive and all that. She's working so hard to provide for her family, and she's providing for her family, and she's taking care of them. And I love that. And I pray for her that God will, you know, just give her the desires of her heart because she's faithful to him and he's been faithful to her and her family. And we thank you for watching this show. Let your friends know. Maybe you know a single mom who's having a hard time. Let her be encouraged by what Rochelle said today. So, love you guys. Thank you so much for watching and have a great night. Thank you. Good night.